I'm doing a review for this book, Inspired Parenting by Dorka Herner. So this book, it's not like other books I've read. I don't really know how to describe it. It's not a parenting book or a how-to guide. It's not an autobiography or a life story. What is it? Herner herself explains it as describing situations, sharing thoughts that can be inspiring. And Herner has compiled lots of snippets of thoughts and anecdotal reflections on parenting. Something that happened yesterday, an idea of how to improve something that isn't going so well, a success, an acceptance that she's still learning. Some parts are written very much in the moment, others in reflection, and others as ideas brew. And I've enjoyed reading it. It's been laid back and like a chat with a friend. This book, it was written in a very relaxed manner. It was very honest, and it brought out some strong emotions in me, as well as making me smile in recognition that we all screw up in similar ways. It's also an amazingly easy book to read because it's split up into lots of small sections. So it's really easy to just read another one and another one and another one. Herner talks a lot about the guilt in parenting that we feel for what we've done, for what we haven't done well enough, and the pressure to live up to our own as well as social expectations, and as well as being torn apart by our attempts to give everyone and everything enough attention. I identify with this, and I think the majority of people do. And you see these feelings play out in different ways with different people, whether they're aware of it or not. I was glad that she spoke so honestly about this because I think it's a conundrum that can never really be solved, but which also only grows bigger the more that people ignore it. An important message that I got from the book was that we need to give ourselves a break, to not be so hard on ourselves, that doing our best is enough, and on a bad day, just getting through it is enough. And people don't say that often enough. Many parents judge themselves harshly. Attachment parenting uses science to show how beneficial strong parental attachments to children are. But that also has the flip side, that the science is showing the damage that is done when children are ignored or left to cry or shouted at, etc. And whilst it's important to be aware of this, it can leave us as parents drowning in guilt because we're not always giving our child as much attention as we could, or we've lost our temper about something. And it can also be impossible to meet these standards. For example, if mums have multiple babies or babies and toddlers, or just trying to juggle everything going on in life. Many of us are also parenting without much support, or we feel that we shouldn't ask for help. And it's hard work raising children. I liked that Herner pointed out that sometimes when we're focusing so hard on what we get wrong, we forget all the things that we get right. So they have clean clothes that fit them. They have a furnished home, food. They have activities to do. They know they are loved. I really liked the mention in the book that in some ways experience doesn't help. And I found this with my youngest. That blind, ignorant confidence that I had with the older ones wasn't there to carry me through so well. And I've become more aware of how bad things get at times. I know the phases, and although I forget them as the older ones grow up, it's a technicolor reminder when the younger one starts showing signs of them. There's also the contrasting mention that in some ways experience does help. The many things that I can leave to happen naturally because I'm not obsessing about the next milestone. And the help of the older kids cannot be understated. I also really liked the two sections, the joys of having many children and the difficulties of having many children. And it really clearly illustrates how often the joys or troubles in our lives are a matter of expectation and interpretation, and we can change those things. Herner also describes how, in a similar way, we long for a future where our children don't need us so much, in the knowledge that in that future we will reminisce about the days when our children needed us so much. Neither is right or wrong, they're normal dimensions of life. So in conclusion, this was a nice, easy read. I don't really know what the point of it was in that there was no lesson in it, but I did enjoy it and I'm glad I've read it. Okay, thank you.